In the creative writing community, there are often friendly conversations between the pros and cons of plotting and pantsing. If you don't know what those are, then I highly suggest you watch this video explaining what the terms mean so that you can know what I'm talking about in this video. I personally identify as a plotter. Though I'm a firm believer that any and all forms of creative writing are valid to some degree, I take a very hard stance against pantsing in the context of self-publishing. I argue that the chances of being successful in the indie publishing sphere are drastically increased by being a plotter over a pantser. Stick around to the end of the video and I'll explain exactly why I think you should strongly consider putting on your plotting pants. I want to start by making something really clear, guys. Pantsing is a valid form of writing. If it's what you enjoy, then by all means, keep it up. If your main focus is simply artistic expression, then it literally doesn't matter what kind of writing that you do so long as you have fun doing it. However, if your goal is to one day make a living from your writing, or to quit your day job and retire off into the hills to write your epic fantasy, then you may want to strongly consider, well, switching your style. You have to understand, plotting is simply a more viable business decision. Let me break it down for you. In order to make a decent living with your books, you must have a backlist. For those of you who don't know, a backlist is basically just all the books that you've written thus far. It is extremely unlikely that you can make $60K a year from a single book unless you are extremely lucky, famous, or talented. Every one of those things, hey, congratulations, hit me up. This video is for the rest of us. When you first publish a book on Amazon, the algorithm will push that book the most within the first 30 to 90 days of its publication. This is when that book is most likely to get the most sales. After that, it's on you to advertise and market your own content. So unless you're a very good Amazon advertiser, it is unlikely that you can stay profitable with only one book after accounting for how much money you spend on advertising. If you have 5 books already out, then every time you make a sale from your advertising, you are far more likely to get more sales as people check out your other work. This only gets better as your backlist increases. With all of this in mind, it is clear that the most reliable path to a profitable self-publishing business is to have as many quality books to your name as possible. How many books? Well, that depends on the author and the genre, but more is usually better. So if having a ton of books is the best path to success, your publication speed will determine exactly how long you can expect to wait until you can finally quit your day job, tell your boss to go f himself, and then retire to your little hobbit hole to churn out stories day after day. But if it takes you 2 years to write and publish a book, then you're probably gonna have to wait a long time. It is undeniable that having a cohesive, complete outline before starting on a book makes the entire writing process so much faster. Writer's block is far less common, and every writing session is far more efficient. The amount of words per hour that a plotter can type dramatically outpaces anything that a pantser can do, because they're not just writing off the top of their head. They have a plan set out before them. I personally know self-published authors who can get their words per hour count up to 5,000, but I have never seen a pantser get above 1,000 words per hour, at least without an outline. Devoted pantsers will often argue that the time spent on a good outline is more than the time saved by simply writing, but this is ignoring a very important aspect of being a pantser. Let's say you finish a book that you wrote entirely by the seat of your pants. Unless you are truly God of the pen, you undoubtedly have a ton of editing work to do. Plot holes that need to be filled, sloppy character arcs that need to be revised, or maybe even entire plot lines that need to be amputated like a gangrenous limb. I would argue that the amount of work that you need to do after the book is written takes far longer than simply writing a good outline to begin with. And even after you're done molding your pants into a half-decent story with an undoubtedly questionable ending, it is very likely that you are left with a final product that is just not as good as an outline book. That is not always the case, but books that start as an outline tend to have superior endings, fewer plot holes, tighter writing, and better structured characters than books written entirely on a whim. If your goal is to make money from your writing, you can't just produce books quickly, you need to make sure that they are good enough to sell. Lastly, one of the best ways to vastly increase your revenue as an indie author is to have a series of books. It is difficult enough to write a single novel by the seat of your pants, but it is even worse to write an entire series. When outlining as a plotter, you can plot out the entire series before even starting on book 1, so you can know ahead of time if the book has series potential. That being said, I don't believe all authors should write a series, and if you want to know why, check out this video. Despite everything I've just said, it isn't impossible to make a living from your writing as a pantser, but you must understand that you are hamstringing yourself by refusing to outline. You gain nothing substantive in skipping this crucial step, and though writing is a form of artistic expression, you have to treat it as a business if your goal is to make money. But at the end of the day, all that matters is results. If you are making quality art simply by writing off the seat of your pants, then you are truly talented, and I applaud you. Keep up the good work, but I urge newer authors to stick to what has been proven to work for others in the business. But hey, Stephen King was a notorious pantser, and well, it looks like it worked out for him. Anyways guys, that is my argument against being a pantser in the self-publishing business. Do you agree with me, or do you feel like I've completely missed the mark? Let me know in the comments below, and let me know what topic you would like for me to discuss in the future. We'll see you next time.